then Gary has, I think, like 1,200 of his. So it looks like they've sold probably about 3,000 or so, maybe a little bit more than 3,000 of the total supply. And it's going to be going on. And he did this in a way where everything didn't sell out in a second, right? Like where a lot of those things are done. He's done this Dutch auction where the price was really high at first, and then slowly it comes down until it reaches still a pretty high price, but not as high. But it made sure that like some whales didn't come in and just buy them all, which could have happened.
Could have. So these gift goats, the ones that you and I bought, I didn't need the what does he call some of them? Hang on here, let me take a look at this. In his categories, he's got access, admission, and gift. So everybody, I think, gets admission to the VCon conferences, which I asked him, today. I said, what happens if we don't go back to conferencing as normal? Because that's like the primary thing with all of these, is that there's 3 conferences that you get access to over the next 3 years. He'd have to really pivot and figure out, what do I do to deliver on this if we don't have the in-person conferences?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was one of my concerns too. But I thought, you know what, let's be hopeful, let's not be cynical, or let's say, all right, there's going to be events again in the future. And he has this one, as he mentioned, that you have the access. He has one where you have access, where you can do like times with him, or hang out with him, or play Uno. There's like all these different events that he had created. And then he had X amount of them that were just admissions into the conference. And then he has these gift goats. And these gift goats were really interesting. They started out at 15 ETH, and then they worked their way down to 5 ETH. And he said that 6 times a year over the next 3 years, Gary is going to gift you cool things, right? And so I've been looking at this, and I saw at one point there was like 40 some odd pages of the gift tokens. At this point right now, at 5:45 p.m. Eastern, there are only 10 pages, which means there's only 60 of those gift goats left. And so he's going to be giving out, people paying anywhere between $40,000, $50,000 all the way down to $20,000, giving out 6 gifts a year. It's sort of like a luxury kind of like loot crate kind of a thing. That like if Oprah was just giving out cool shit.
And he said he's going to over deliver, because that's what he does. And so I have no idea what I just spent $20,000 on, besides access to the conferences if we decide to go to that. But I do know that whatever we get is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that I can just imagine. It's like Gary being like Oprah Winfrey. I think it's going to be really cool. You never know. And then I was thinking of this, is that in a lot of cases he might not even go out and buy these things. He's probably going to have maybe some really cool sponsored stuff given to him, because like, oh look, here's 555 people who just paid X amount of dollars for these things. You might want to access them, right? So
right.
I was going to spin that into some cool stuff. And I told him, I said, look, my favorite color is blue Lambo. So if you want to...
Well, here's the thing. They were about $20,000. The price of ETH that I bought it was about $20,000, maybe a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And so you have access to the conferences. A minimum, it says, of 6 physical gifts will be sent to gift token holders per year for 3 years. Now, I think you can sell the token to somebody else if you wanted to, but why would you want to? Because you want to see what he's going to send you for the next 3 years. But I also think that these are very collectible. I'm going to say this now. I think that because what he did was so original and so unique, applying real world access to the whole series. It wasn't like William Shatner's series where one person got the Shatner doll in a box, right? Everybody gets something. And I think that the NFTs themselves this is me being an NFT prognosticator, not a financial advisor. I think that the NFTs themselves are going to hold value beyond the delivery of the 3 years, because I think that they are going to become a piece of NFT history. If you look at crypto punks that are selling for $50,000, some $100,000 or more, right? Those were just your plain little 8-bit images. I think these are more special. And I believe that these NFTs, years after the the exchange value of what you got for having it plays out, that they're going to be highly collectible.
I had my eye on number 21. I just kept watching it, and I'm like, all right, where's it gonna go? All right, and I was like, and I went to bed, and I literally, and I didn't sleep very well last night, and I woke up, and I came in, I'm like, oh, is it still here? Okay, it's still there. All right, still watching it. And but what I did, how I gauged it was, I would look down, and I'm like, okay, there's still 34 pages of these down here. All right, none have really sold. Come back here and look again. 34 pages. All right, still 34 pages. And then later on today, like right when the auctions was getting close to being done, and I looked down there, and I'm like, oh, 32 pages, up 30 pages. I'm like, okay, these are starting to go now. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna snag my one that I'm gonna get. So I had a little strategy there, and I got it for 5.555 ETH. But
there you go.
Pull from a shit coin, that meme coin that exploded on its own, which was nice. It was like took a little shit coin, spun it over here, and got this. It was really like I didn't spend anything, really.
It was like you're not wearing nothing. That was an 80s commercial reference there.
Okay, well, I was like, that was creepy, Joel.
Yeah. So if somebody can go write us if you know what that was from. Okay, think like an 80s commercial. It's like you're not wearing nothing. So a couple of quick stories here to hit on from some of the folks that we've worked with here recently. One of them is this article on Cointelegraph about AnyTask. The article says, got the skills to design an NFT? This freelancing site wants you. And so AnyTask is encouraging artists and illustrators to start offering their services. They have an NFT category now on the AnyTask site, and I don't know who recommended that, but whoever did must have been absolutely brilliant. It actually talks about AnyTask and Blockchain Heroes because Neto Roboto, one of the artists, he's a Brazilian artist on AnyTask.com, created the Electroman hero that we released as a promotion with Electronium and AnyTask Blockchain Hero card. And so now he's really more in demand, but they need more artists that are going to be able to help create professional NFTs, and AnyTask is a great place to sell your art and get paid in crypto. Because like ETN is, I saw it at like what, 4 cents. I mean, it was sub penny for a long time, and now it's moving.
What is it now? I'm going to take a look and see. ETN is now 205 overall in market cap, and it is up 1.8 cent right now, so it went down a little bit.
There you go.
I love that screen there. That's the Illustrator thing. Like thinking of somebody like myself who uses Photoshop so much, that would be awesome to have a big screen like that I could like pop up and like do stuff. That would be badass. Maybe I'll do that someday as I keep developing my Photoshop skills. But yeah, ETN, big fans of big fans of Electronium. I almost said Ethereum, and then I said yeah.
Also really like the things that Gala Games is doing, and we are working with them. They have some big stuff going on at Gala. Not a financial advisor, but I bought some. I'm just going to say I bought some Gala because some of the partnerships that they're signing seem to have a lot of promise. And if you create an account at Gala Games, I'm going to give you a link, and if you have a friend who buys a node, then you get 10 points in daily distribution. Yesterday, that would have been 773 Gala. Go check out their node system, badco.in/Gala Games. There's over 9,000 nodes running now, and there's only a certain amount that are available, so you guys can go poke around there. Travis, last week we asked, or in our last show, I think we asked people to submit reviews. We read a couple of bad reviews that I thought were really funny, and I got several comments from people saying they were cracking up when we read the bad reviews. But we've got a series here of reviews that just came in. We'll just take turns on these, okay? So the first one says, it's so bad, like Michael Jackson bad. I listen so I can make Chamonix. That's a 5-star review.
Chamonix! Nice. Came for the crypto, stayed for the bad humor. Keep it up. We do our best to crack jokes and have fun. We're having fun with it. That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. The next one from Surreal Sean was 5 stars. The show is so bad it's good. So, we pushed the envelope and somehow ended up in the plus column.
That's good. Next one is Not Funny by VC Chip. VC Bip?
VC Bip.
Sorry, I'm not funny. I'm German. Nevertheless, your podcast entertained me. Thank you.
He's got the German flag there. The last one is a 2-star review. Skip the politics. If this was about crypto, it would be decent. No, bad. Not decent. It's bad. The political talk brings nothing. Unsubscribe. Yeah.
Your name is Steve. Steve.
I always think it's funny when people need to announce that they've unsubscribed. Like people should care. Like when they on Twitter, they're like, "You said this, unfollowed." Okay, here, let me fix that. Please come back. No, it's more like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm so important. I'm going to tell you that I'm unfollowing you because I need to announce my exit from the room.
It's self-righteousness, man. It's like, here's the thing. People get so upset that they can't hear other people's opinions on things, so they never take additional points of view into consideration, staying within their filter bubble, which only feeds them that in which they agree with. And then when they hear somebody who says something they don't agree with, it just triggers them. And that's a problem. And so you're the problem. We're not going to skip politics. We're going to talk about the world in general and crypto and how it applies. And if it offends you, then maybe you should just take a look at yourself and say, wow, why am I so self-righteous? Why does this offend me? Why do I get triggered over this? Because my filter bubble is so fine-tuned that I only see things I agree with. Like, it's a problem. Sorry, guy.
It's a maturity issue. It really is. I mean, I've been on both sides of the political aisle, and I have no problem listening to what other people say. But be ready.
For people, then, right? Sometimes you go,
of course you do.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, there's so much I don't know. There's so much. When you think about all of the knowledge in the universe, we're all ignorant. The amount of knowledge that the most informed, intelligent person on the face of the earth has, in light of all of the knowledge in the universe, they're barely a speck of the percentage that it doesn't even matter. Even the person who knows the most knows so little compared to all knowledge that we're all ignorant. And ignorant isn't a bad thing. It means, I think that the Latin phrase is something like not knowing. That's what ignorant means. It's not like you're ignorant. It just means you don't know. And so I'm ignorant in most things.
You're ignorant.
Ignorant?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate you. The bad news, as you can see, has moved to Wednesday nights, and our live Nifty show that heretofore has taken place on Fridays at 5 o'clock Eastern Daylight at nifty.show/YouTube is relocating. It's packing its bags, moving its NFTs to Thursday. Must-see NFT. Same time, just on Thursdays every week, which means there's no show on Friday, Saturday for us. Sunday night is when the next Bad Crypto episode comes out.
Yeah, well, we thought about this. It's like, you know what? If we do a show and we launch some on Sunday, and then we record these other ones, and we really work from Monday through Thursday, it'll give us more time to chill and be more creative and happy. Because what happens a lot of times, folks, like, we got to do this, the bookings for this on this day. It ends up we're doing something every single day, and it doesn't ever seem like you have a day of freedom of not doing something. And so I was like, dude, we're here in paradise, bro. How about we take a couple days off each week and not do anything? And that was my motivation. I was like, I want to do nothing. Actually, I want to go. I want to be able to not have to do a show late Friday night, so I can go somewhere over here and go see a different part of the island and check out some things. And so that's what we're doing.
And timestamp right now, it is 6:02 p.m. We're done recording the show. It'll come out later tonight whenever it comes out, whenever producer Aaron gets around to editing it and putting it out. And Travis, you and I are going to go get some dinner.
Let's go do it.
Which, by the way, by the time you hear the show, we will have digested.
It might already be poop.
When did I have corn?
We did at Chili's.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you. Catch you next time here on the Bad Crypto Podcast. Until then, stay bad. Who's bad? The Bad Crypto Podcast is a production of Bad Crypto LLC. The content of the show, the videos, and the website is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. It's not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, or trading advice of any kind. You shouldn't make any decisions as to finances, investing, trading, or anything else based on this information without undertaking independent due diligence in consultation with a professional financial advisor. Please understand that the trading of Bitcoins and alternative cryptocurrencies have potential risks involved. Anyone wishing to invest in any of the currencies or tokens mentioned on this podcast should first seek their own independent professional financial advisor.
This is not a commercial for Chili's.
I want my baby back. I want my baby
I think I am going to get some corn at Chili's.
I want my baby.
When did I eat corn? I don't remember eating corn. Hey Joe, when did I eat corn? I don't remember. Why does the corn not digest? Like it's like eating nothing. It's like you eat it and then you can just clean it off and eat it again. But I wouldn't do it because it's poop now. It's gross. Well, I don't remember eating corn. I think it was like sometime last week again.
Just put it back on the cob.
I'll just take it out and put it in salsa is what I do. I just clean it out and clean it off and just put it, just clean it a little bit and add it to that Tex-Mex.
Oh my gosh, our apologies to anybody who stayed tuned for this Easter egg. This Easter egg was shitty. This is shitty Easter egg.
Well, what a great guest we got on the Juice Storm Radio podcast today. We've got Adam Todd. It's a blast from the past, a rave from the grave. Adam Todd was the founder of Racing Traders back in the day. He was also a futures trader on the London financial options and futures. And he's going to be talking today about the new that he's going to be launching in the early part of next year. And also we're going to take a trip down memory lane. What do you reckon, Adam?
You alright, mate? Sounds good to me. Yeah, rave from the grave. What are the...
I was trying to be a DJ, when DJs come on the radio, they play an old song. It's like a rave from the grave, a blast from the
Reports of my death have been greatly exaggerated.
Fantastic, ever so nice to have you on, Adam. And the last thing that I saw about you on the web was you on a handstand on a skateboard.
Oh yeah, Hurricane Irma at Miami. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it made the mail. It made a few other newspapers as well.
I got a Brazilian neighbour. He tells me I'm famous in Brazil. Apparently, it was all over the television in Brazil too. So that was a bit of fun. It was everyone.
Get an edge. Invest like a pro. Access CNBC's live streams around the globe. Unparalleled access to CNBC experts. Actionable investor insight and ideas. Start your free trial today at cnbc.com/pro. Options Action is brought to you by TD Ameritrade, where you gain access to research tools to help you sharpen your trading strategies.
Happy Friday. Welcome to Options Action. On deck tonight, thinking about a summer vacation, we've got a 2-for-1 deal that could have you swimming in profits. Then the change oil light just went on, not in your car, but in your portfolio. And finally, a follow-on to a big winner from last week's show. With us tonight, as always, Carter Worth, Mike Coe, and Tony Zhang. All right, let's get right to it. With the reopening trade heading into a seemingly full swing summer, the chart master Carter Worth is already making reservations for not just one, but 2 plays. Carter, explain.
Well, not many earnings left, but 2 big names reporting next week. Disney and Marriott, obviously very much tied to the end of COVID and their prospects going forward. A couple charts will make the case for each. The first chart, 3 lines. Now take a look at Disney and Marriott. They are parallel lines. They're doing the exact same thing. And that third line, trailing behind, is the S&P. But what we know is in terms of its return series, the S&P is steady and orderly. The Disney and Marriott lines are erratic, right? Great surges and pullbacks, great surges and pullbacks. And this recent pullback, we think, is the opportunity. So let's look at them individually. First, Disney. And you can see here annotated on the chart the periods over multi-week periods, 2 to 4, 2 to 5 weeks, where it pulls back, and advances again. Look at the second Disney chart. Now I've put in the arrows, meaning this has been very sequential, very orderly in the way it surges and then rests, surges and rests. Disney closed at 184 and change, and we think you can get mid-190s out of this. Now take a look at Marriott. It's the exact same chart. You see the pullbacks after strong moves, and then the next chart, the strong moves that precede the pullbacks. And again, we think here that earnings related, it will go on its next advance, close at 146.70, and I think in mid 150. Final chart, just back to the two together. Look at Disney, both reporting earnings, both unchanged for the last 2 months, and the market's up 10%. The pause that refreshes.
All right, thank you, Carter. Mike, over to you. You've got two trades for us here.
Yeah, so two very similar charts and two very similar trades. We've got earnings on both. We know what the dynamics typically are. That means short-dated options premiums are going to be elevated. We want to take advantage of that. The other thing is, with the market at all-time highs, both of these stocks trading very close to their average analyst price targets, having obviously demonstrated considerable strength. Disney at an all-time high. Marriott not quite there, but not far off. So I think what we want to do is continue to buy longer dated calls on both of these stocks, sell out of the money shorter dated calls against them, creating a diagonal spread. On the Marriott trade, I was looking at the July 150, May 157.5 call diagonal. I could spend $6.60 or thereabouts for that July 150 call and sell the 157 against it for just under $1. And then similarly in Disney, you can do essentially the same thing. Looking at that first out of the money call strike in Disney, the July 185 calls. When I was looking at those earlier today, those were about $8, and then you could sell the 195 calls against it for $1.25. In both of these trades, what we're looking to do is spend less money than the distance between the strikes. And what that means is that we are taking advantage of selling those shorter dated options. But if the stocks do trend in the direction that we want, which is higher in both cases, under no circumstances, no matter how high these stocks go, will we see losses to the upside. Of course, you could see some losses to the downside, but the risk that you're taking in a trade like this will be less than if you went out and purchased the stock right here, which I think is a little bit tough when you consider that the market, of course, is at all-time highs, and in Disney's case, it is as well, and Marriott not far from it.
Yeah, Tony, what do you make of this kind of trade?
Yeah, so both stocks currently from a technical perspective look fairly strong. Momentum favors here to the upside. What I have trouble wrapping my heads around at the moment is really the valuations in the business itself. Marriott's, RevPAR is still about 45% below pre-pandemic levels. Disney, with the Disney Plus and the reopening, looks a little stronger, but these are stocks trading at 60 to 80 times next year's earnings. So I find these valuations a little difficult to wrap my head around. So when you're looking at these, I do think that the option strategy that Mike has selected, where you're risking less than 4% of the stock price on both trades, is the right way to play this. And even if the stock doesn't move substantially higher because of the valuations, you're not seeing any losses from these diagonals in the short run.
Yeah, Mike, you wanted to comment?
Yeah, just very quickly, as far as the RevPAR on Marriott, I think it's important to realize, of course, their revenues got absolutely slayed in all of this, and they have a lot of potential upside. Over $20 billion in revenue is what they were doing not that long ago, and now down about 13, 14 billion. So there's a lot of room to the upside if they recover. And in Disney's case, obviously, we've got parks reopening, and we actually just saw a price increase on Disney Plus, which obviously has had very good traction. So I think that's one of the reasons you see these high valuations, but those risks are real.
All right, well, quite literally, when one door opens this summer, another will likely close, and Tony thinks it's shifting to game over for one pandemic winner. Tony, EA?
Yeah, I wanted to take a look at EA because of the gaming slowdown that I'm starting to see, and I think going into earnings next week, we should fade some of the strength that we're seeing. If we look at the chart of EA, it's been range bound here for the last 9 months.